Good morning everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to continue working on my spring bulb. The iris is what I chose, and this little piece is going into my backyard journal. My down by the ocean, down by the sea, hasn't really got a name, it's just where I'm now living and inspired by my surroundings. So somewhere in here will be this piece. Now, when I finished filming yesterday, I had on this corner a little bit of this dragonfly, which I did want to hide. So on the desk, I was fiddling around with these two little pieces, but they just weren't quite the right sort of size. If I joined them, yeah, they are. And then as I walked back out the room, I found that piece, which was at one point on this piece, and it's still sort of hanging around needing a home. That came from the Fleur Woods course. It was just on the desk as a little piece that could be added. So yeah, I sort of put that there. And then that came across there, and now it fit because it lowered it. And then I jumped up, had a look in the cupboard and found that piece. So I've got some little clustery bits that I will add to the bottom when I'm done. Fudgy's doing zoomies. I just opened the garage door up thinking he might go outside and be a quiet little Kit Kat, but no, he's come back inside. Fudgy, pussy, don't jump. And now he's doing zoomies. So I also cut myself a piece of wadding to go behind it, which we're going to have trouble. No, he's going back to bed. Don't know what that was all about. Cats are funny things, aren't they? I've got some videos to show you too. So you're watching this probably Wednesday and be midweek. Well, on Saturday, we had some friends over, and Sue and Dave, they have two of Pepper's pups. Now, Sue helped me with the raising of the puppies. Oh, Fudgy's still doing zoomies. So those of you who've been with me for a while, Pepper and Bandit, it's a litter of pups that they had. Pepper's now been desexed. She's had enough. She's contributed enough to society. And boy, it was a lot of work. As much as I loved it, boy, the worries that come with raising nice, strong, healthy puppies. Well, many of the pups I'm still in contact with, which is fantastic. So I'm pretty much watching them grow. I'm just going to stitch down this wadding just with a few big stitches. I'm going to use those little gaps there to do it. Probably should have put a piece of calico. Now Fudgy's coughing. He's just done the zoomies. I need a piece of calico in here. Fudgy, are you all right? I might just jump up and check him. Hang on, guys. The pussycat doesn't sound well. What are you doing there, Fudge? He's giving himself a cough. And of course he goes and sits on the carpet to have a good cough. So I've just brought him back into my room where it's a tile floor. I'm sure I had a base for this little guy. Where has that got to? Is it in there? No. What have I done? Oh my goodness, guys. Yeah. Oh, sure, I tore that off yesterday. It's a good start to the video, isn't it? I want that there. So I'd like a little bit of thickness under my hands, and it helps the stitches especially if I'm going to intensely stitch this little guy here, to sort of hold their own. You're right there, Fudge. Oh my goodness. Yes, he's right. It was just a cough. He was doing zoomies and now he's having a bit of a cough and meowing as he went. So he's obviously knocked the breath out of himself. There's nothing coming up, which is just gross. Sorry, guys. You're now living the life of Fudge. You're right, Fudgy. Cough it up. It's because you were being silly. You've run around being silly. Yep, now he's heading to his bowl for something to eat. No, another cough. How pleasant. You've got a cat coughing. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so what was I saying? So Sky and Patch came to visit with Dave and Sue, and we took them down to the side of the lake, to the side of our property, to where the estuary fills the lake every high tide. So it tops it up a few centimetres and then it stops flowing as the tide returns back out. So it's a tidal lake. And where that little estuary comes in, there's sort of reasonably large pools of water and little potential islands. It's been quite interesting to watch over the years as, you know, the tide changing has formed this little inlet, which is not very big. Like in one section, we cross it, jump over it, and then it'll open up to a pondy thing, and fishermen are in there always throwing cast nets to get little bait fish to then fish into the lake. Anyway, everyone got their leads on and we headed off. Sue with her two and me with Patch, Pepper and Bandit. So father, mother, daughter and son. It is just adorable. And then the shenanigans. Pepper is a water baby, always has been. When we were in Brisbane, she was constantly in the pool. She was in that pool more than we were, especially in summer. Every day I'd make sure she'd go out and have a little swim to cool off, and she loved it. Bandit just raced around the edge woofing because he was like, I don't know about that. So Pep's a swimmer, Bandit not so much, and you'll see it in the video. He goes into his ankles and then retreats. So it's pretty funny. And then here's Sky and Patch, the babies. They're both water babies. So Mum and the kids swim, and Dad, Bandit, he just stands on the side woofing at them. He's getting braver. Whether when the heat of summer comes, he'll get a little braver, but he's a different build to them. They're fine and lean and long dogs. Bandit is more like the original Australian Shepherd, very stocky, very solid. He's a male too, so, you know, that's probably making him different again. But, and both Patchy and Sky have been desexed, so the sort of bodies are never going to get big and stocky like Bandits did, especially Patchy's. So yeah, it was great. So I've got, I think, 3 or 4 little videos. The wind in a couple is shocking and you can't really hear what I'm saying, so I do apologise. And I've actually ordered a little microphone that I can wear when I do go for a walk and film something for you guys, because I figured we'd probably be doing some outings with this field note journal. So I said to Gaz, let's do a bit of research on a microphone that blocks out the wind. And we did get one, but it, you know, when you're at the counter and you're like, oh my goodness, it's that much? Oh, I'll just take the lesser model. And we did, which saved a lot of money. But when I tested it before Patch and Sky arrived, it didn't block out anything. It was literally just a microphone that still caught everything around. Like I went and stood next to the air conditioning unit to the side of the house that has a fan, and I could hear it on the video just as if I was standing beside it. Where we did research one that blocks road noise out, it blocks, you know, wind out. And then when I got to the counter and chatting to the salesperson and realised how much it was, I was like, oh. And then she goes, oh, this one's very popular. Everyone seems to buy this one. I'm like, yeah, that's way better price. That's why. So I bought it and it's no good. So we need to take it back, spend the extra, oh my goodness, I tell you, and get one that will hopefully be better for sound. And the reason that is sort of happening as well, as I mentioned in a previous video, we've booked flights to go to America. And I've been researching different places that I can visit. And I'd dearly love to take you guys along on some of those journeys. Some of my little mini road trips within the road trips of the road trips. And I thought, I better get a microphone because then I can talk quietly. You guys will hear me as clear as a bell and I won't be intruding on others around me. So I thought, as courtesy to society and for me to be a little bit more, hidden from what I'm doing and block out noise, I think it's, worth it. Plus, it's very windy here in summer, and if I'm going to be filming outside a little bit, you guys don't need to be struggling with that wind. So I do apologise in advance that my doggy swimming play date is, there's one video in particular that I can barely make out what I'm saying, but visually it looks just hilarious. So, yeah, I'll play them. I think there's four little videos. So, yeah, I'll play them anyway. You can have a little look at the shenanigans. All right, we've got it. Just whizzed around with that little bit of batting in there, and I picked a really thin one. Just a scrap left over from when I was doing quilts. Okay. Now, my iris. Don't think I need that needle. So let's grab, got a little bit of purple left here. Should we just use it? Where are we going to use it? I might use it in the centre here. I've only got a little bit, so I probably won't get many stitches down, but I'm just going to use it. Now, my inspiration is just a combination of different stitches, beads and ribbons to build up as much interesting texture as I can on this iris. No rhyme or reason, just throw in what I've got. I do want a bit of yellow and orange to appear in the centre. So I'm just pulling my little stitches to the edge here. And then I can backfill it. See, I pulled the knot. Oh my goodness, I tell you. I pulled the knot, which then pulled that tighter. So I need to just soften that. Yep, that's better. That there got in my way. Don't go through the ribbon that is underneath. Try and avoid that. Use this little bit up. So other than the puppy dog date, what did I do Sunday? Mowed the lawn. Might leave it at that. We have enough to do another little stitch, but I'm going to leave it. And in the center there will be, I really wouldn't mind a darker ribbon as well. What I might end up having to do is using some Inktense pencils, add a bit of dark purple to these, because I don't have anything darker than that. That's my little selection I grabbed as I come into the room. Yeah, I might see if I've got another purple. I picked up that blue. I think I need something more that. Let's have a look at this guy. He will work with all of it. I do have that one as well. Now, I'll just show you this so you know where we're heading, because I'll be here all day if I do the whole thing. See how I've done a combination of stitches here? Ribbon, weaving, beads, bullion knots, satin stitch, what do they call them? Seed stitch. And then in amongst it, this yellow and orange. I'm going to follow that as my lead because I just love the looseness of these guys. So let's maybe weave that guy. So I'm just going to throw down some straight stitches, a little gap in between them, about the width of your needle. It's usually a good guide. So it's all about different textures to build up this little guy. I look forward to mowing the lawn now. I never ever did in the past because I'm using the clippings, ever so few that there are, because it's winter, the grass is really not doing much. But I use the clippings around all of the natives that are planted on the embankment to the side of our property to try and build up a little bit of nutrient in that soil slash clay slash sand. And the natives that I've already achieved some form of mulching around them are just booming, absolutely booming. I just trim this back. Hasn't been caught by glue, so I might as well just get it back before it tears. And so now I'm to the weaving stage. You've seen me do this 100 times. We're all weaving. I think Rachel mentioned in her prompt video that she plans to do weaving with her flower. Get rid of that before I pull on it again. I must have glue on my scissors. I can barely cut. I've decided I need a little set of drawers or trolley or under my desk to the side of me. The side of me is things that I can grab when I'm filming, like glue, scissors, a ruler, tape measure, just basic stuff. But it's in multiple containers. It's always messy. It's in my way. It's annoying me. So I'm on the hunt for a little chest of drawers. And then in the Googling process, so I haven't gone over and under again. Oh my goodness me. Mind you, you can do that. You can do 2 rows the same and then 2 rows the same again, but opposite Does that make sense? It looks quite effective too. I don't think it would really show up in this small little space. So we've got to do under, over, under, over, under, over. Yeah, so what was I saying? So I'm looking at little chests of drawers, just something inexpensive that I can have sitting beside me. This was all happening at goodness knows what hour this morning. And then I get out to the table and I realise that I don't have as much as I think space under there without knocking my knees on it all the time. And then up amongst the searches popped a trolley. And I'm thinking, hang on a minute, I used to have a trolley. Where's that trolley gone? Little black trolley in my home old craft room. I'm thinking, where is that? That's not still in Brisbane, like, So I went hunting and it's not in the house. And then I got out to the shed and here it is with tools in it that Gaz uses to work on his pinball machines because it's got the little wheels. You know, those little craft trolleys? So it's been commandeered. So he's in bed still asleep. Need to have a chat to him about it and say, hey, what's going on with the trolley? It's now a pinball spare parts trolley, which sort of makes sense because he can sort of push it around. I'd say it's got mixed up in the shed with everything when we were dumping and dropping furniture and stuff like that. And he's commandeered it. So I think I will be on the hunt for a new trolley. At least I can bring it in and test it to make sure it's not going to crack my kneecap every time I turn out of the chair, which would be most likely the case if I went something big like a set of drawers. The other thing I've added to my room, I'm getting close to a room tour. I'm still settling in and I'm prepping heaps of things for the retreat. So the place looks like it's exploded. So yeah, I will do a tour for you all. But what I've done is to the side of me is a big kitchen bench. It's not really a kitchen, it's just the bench and the cabinetry and a sink. But if anyone bought the house in the future, they could easily add in a stove and oven and turn this section of the house into a granny flat. So that's sort of what we've built so that it made sense, I guess, if it ever sold. It had a dual use. And where I'm sitting would be where a bed would go. There's a ensuite to the side of me, the kitchen bench thing over there, and there's a desk over there. And then to the opposite side is mirrored covered doors to a big linen cupboard. So it's pretty much a little granny flat, if ever it was a granny flat. Perfect studio. But yeah, I just felt like I needed another surface to lay out projects, and you know what it's like, you lay out your project and I like to look at it, think about it for a little bit. And it takes up space. Then I get frustrated that I don't have space to lay out other projects, or when I'm filming, because I have up to 4 or 5, sometimes more projects on the go, I sort of like to have a little dedicated area for each one that I can just go and say, right, I'm going to film this today, I'm going to film this today, and just go in and grab it from that space, and everything I need's there. Misorganised. So yeah, I was thinking I need nearly a bar table. Something at good height, something that I could bring some shelving in underneath it for more storage. I'm really digging these little tiered shelves I've bought that have wicker baskets in them. I think they're seagrass baskets. And I can just pull the basket out and bring it to the table and film. You've probably already noticed them. They're like big square baskets. And then they just go straight back into the shelving. So, yeah, I was looking online. What could I use? Measurements, you know, spend a day or so doing that. Then it was like 11 o'clock at night. And I'm like, oh, hang on a minute. I already have one. So out to the shed I go. And the table, picnic table bar. So it's a picnic table, but it's high. So it's like a bar table that we had on the veranda of the first house up here, which is across the lake. It was a 2-story with a big veranda. And we lived upstairs and bedrooms were downstairs. So I bought a table that raised us up over the railing of the veranda so we could see. If I had to go on a normal picnic table, you'd be sitting and the railing of the 2-story house would be at eye level. So I chose a reasonably inexpensive piece because I thought, well, this is, you know, out in the weather, yada, yada. But it's turned out pretty good because it was a metal-legged framed thing, white, with slats of timber on top. And I waxed them with beeswax. And that, in turn, kept the weather off of it. I think I'll go a contrasting thread there. So I had this blue. Am I bringing blue into this? Sort of doesn't look quite right. But I think I need to bring it in. No, I'm going to go the paler one. I will, but yeah, so I waxed it, and whenever the showers of rain come across, it was protected. So it was in really good condition. I think we had that house for about 4 years. It was like the family meet holiday house until we could, you know, eventually get to live here. And yeah, went back to Brisbane. Was in the garage for another 3 years, and then it's come back and it's been sitting. Just haven't found its home yet. And I've been waiting for Gaz to finish his shed, his man cave, to know whether he'll use it. And if he doesn't use it, well, it potentially will be sold. So, yeah, it dawned on me that we still had it. So by then it was nearly midnight and I'm dragging Gaz off the couch. He's like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, get up. We're going to get it in. So in the middle of the night, we're dragging this thing into my room. I butted it into a wall and now it sits parallel to that big long bench. And then underneath it, I'm putting some storage units that have those baskets in it. And it's great height. It's not too big. It's found a home and I'm very happy with it. So yeah, it's slowly coming together. It takes time, doesn't it, to get your space right. You sort of nearly need to think about it and sit things around and going, well, is that annoying? Am I actually going to enjoy having it there? What's a better suggestion? Yeah, takes time. And now that I'm preparing goodies for the retreats that I'm hosting in October, there's just stuff everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. Yes. And it's tricky too because it's all coming out of my collection. And I'm thinking, oh, do I really want to put that in a pack? No. And then it goes back in the cupboard. No, I need it. It doesn't look right without it. So there's fabrics coming and going from the cupboards. Treasures coming and going from the cupboards. Oh, I tell you. Got a hoarding issue? Not. Maybe. I don't know. It's just the love of fabrics, I think. So I'm just doing a split backstitch here if anyone's wanting to know what the hang I'm doing here. And this, I guess, is the whole process that I'll be taking for this little guy is just piecing together different things. What we might do now is grab my yellows and do the centre. There we go. So we've got 3 different types of stitches all in that one location. Sort of setting the scene for the piece. There's no way I am going to get this finished with you guys, but that's okay. When we get together, we can see it completed. Hang on one moment. Just grabbing some yellows and some oranges. So, yellow. I'm thinking we go bold. And some orange. Oh, my phone. Back in a moment, guys. Okay, I'm back. That was Dad ringing in for a bit of a chat. He's good, which is good. So while I was chatting to Dad, I got the yellow and did 3 little French knots. Now I've got the orange and I did 2 little bullion knots, and then I realised, gee, I better stop because otherwise you won't see anything. So I'm just going to finish off that last little bullion knot. They're so petite, so I've got to be a little bit careful with the sizing because it's not a very big flower. And then I was just chatting away to Dad. 20 minutes went by. There we go. Just a hint of something in there. That's all we need. So I'll knot this off. What I might do is just break this down into some little zones. So I'm thinking I will weave. This is my ink pen, heat pen. I'll weave down through there. Then we'll have a zone through here of something. A zone through there, because I just want to break it up a little bit so it makes it look a little bit more interesting. I'll zone through there. And maybe zone through there, and the rest would be open. So that will have something, that will have something, that'll have something, that will, and that will. And then we have the gap. I think that's what we do. And then I'll apply the same to the petals. So let's have a look at some beads. Is what I'm going to do next, I believe. Actually, Reg has some thread in him. Is that Reg? I don't think it is. Where's Reg? He's got that real thin little... There he is. Good morning, Reg. Are you in a good mood or are you going to jab me? He's in a good mood. He's grabbed the cotton. Let's put a couple little sneaky knots in there so that Reg doesn't ditch the cotton mid beading. All right, he's now committed to the project. So it looks like I'd done 30 minutes. I might come up here. Just do an anchor stitch, move that to there. And start with a couple little beads. Oops. I always have these little nicky-nacky things and just never remember to use them. And this little bead tray is one of them. Technically should have a purple thread if you're wondering. And the thread is sitting right there, but didn't do it. I'm just going to work down that little zone. There's a paler bead that I have as well. So 2 stitches in each bead. That really helps it to sit so it doesn't wriggle. Okay. So people are starting to receive their parcels with my Christmas printed linen panels, which is all very exciting. They're slowly jet setting around the world. The Aussie girls, of course, would have them reasonably quickly. But, yeah, they're starting to get there. I ordered a book the other day and it came from Japan and it was here in 4 days. Yet if I order a book that's coming from America, it can take up to 4 weeks. Doesn't even make sense. I'll have to show you that book too. I've got a little pile of bits and bobs that I've picked over the last month sitting there. So there'll be a random video pop up with some of my recent purchases. A couple books aren't coming because they were with Booktopia, who's gone into receivership. And then one was with Nile, and I got a little email to say, sorry, we sold it to you and it was never in stock. There was an error. I'm like, oh, good on you guys. So, yeah. A couple books I thought were coming aren't. Can't remember what they were that were ordered. I think Tilly Rose was a couple of them. So just a little cluster of beads coming down that outer edge. Trying to keep a little gap between some of these segments too. I'm going to try and sneak a bead back up into there. I've got a bit too much space. I think Dad's feeling the cold. We're getting a bit of an Arctic blast coming from the southern states. And because he's on the inside of the Great Divide Range that runs up through Queensland, he really gets the southern blast coming straight up from northern New South Wales. I'm a little bit more protected, but I did notice it when I went out to give breakfast to Pepper and Bandit. There was a crispness to the air. But yeah, over in where Dad is, it'd be very crispy. No frost, but just a plummet. You can hear Fudge snoring now. My goodness, he's gone from coughing and choking to now snoring. I'm just going to run a little stitch through that one. He's swinging out past where I want him to go. That's it. Okay. There's a little cluster of beads. You can see we're just going to keep building up, building up. This piece will take a little bit of time, but that's okay. We've got time. I feel like I've been absolutely working my little butt off on all this project, but I feel good now that I've got all the basics done. My journal pages, my title pages. I do want to do a spring title page. That'll be the next day or so. There we go. We've got some little beads and they'll repeat. No, put them away, girl. Now, I think we've got time. Let's bring a bit of this blue in before the blue disappears and it becomes a very purple flower. We might Maybe I weave the bottom edge of him. Yes, 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 yes. Let's put a big blue blaze of weaving through here. I kept calling this petal here the beard. And when I was putting the photos of all of the names of different things on that last video, the beard is actually in here. See, too close together. That just makes it too hard to weave, girl. Give yourself a bit of space. No need to struggle, especially a dark colour. No need to struggle to see where to bring your needle up. So just come out a little bit. So you can just see a little bit of air there. Just sits nicely then. You can do it closer, but it'd be a very tight little weave where you can give yourself a break, especially dark colours. Now, because I've marked out some little zones of which to stitch within, I don't have to think now. I can just pretend that they're there and adjust my stitching to suit. So now that's going to drop down because that'll be something else. Might be French knots, a different colour. There we go. There we go. Down we come. Yeah, I like that. Down we go as we slither down. So you can do quite big areas with your weaving. You can weave another colour through. Trying to say stay just inside the black permanent pen outline, just so I can still maintain that sketched look. Because we're enhancing a sketch is what I'm trying to achieve here. Now we're heading back up that little side. This is riveting viewing for you guys. There we go, nearly there. And then when you start the weaving stitch, you can decide if you want to put it at an angle or straight. I'm thinking, which sort of helps you create a nap. You know, when you rub your hands on the carpet one way and then rub your hand the back the other way, sometimes you can see a colour difference or a bit of movement in the way that the fibres are laying due to your hand. That's what you can do with weaving as well. So I'll grab another piece. That's a Wonderfill, I think, and it was called Denim. Okay. Alrighty. So I'm thinking I'm going to weave that way. Or do I do it that way? I think I'll do it that way because it'll feel like more of a downward angle. So I might come up here. Spin it around so I get a nice blunt end and don't split threads. 1, 2, over, under, over, under. Should be a bit quicker too. And then work out where I'm coming out. Just get everything a bit tidy. There we go. And anchor it. Done. And now come up beside it and do the opposite to what I just did. So where I went under, I went over. You guys know how to do this. If you haven't tried it, give it a go. It's a lovely way to mix up some stitches within something. And flowers are great for it because there's no rules. You can be as random as you like within the shape of a petal. All right, we're through. And then by the time you do your third one, see how there's a bit of a gap there? Don't worry about that. That'll settle in. Main thing is not to have your tension too tight. You want to be able to manipulate the door without it. So that has to go over. And that anchors it. Then we come down again. And by the time you get your third and fourth run through, it starts compacting down nice and tight like that. So if it is a bit gappy, don't panic. It will settle down. It's like when they make a blanket, weave a blanket or a piece of cloth. They sort of run it through a couple times and then they bring down a thingy to squish the threads together. That's what you need to do once you get a couple. And we're out the other end. There we go. Then anchor it. I'm really happy with the position of this. It's really, really good. Took a bit to get my head around the placement of it. But we got it in the end. Under, over, under. Once you get those first couple right, then you're away. And if those original stitches are too close together, you run the risk too of missing your over and unders, and then your weave isn't quite right. But look, don't panic. It's you know, you'd have to be really studying it to realise that there's a little boo-boo in there. You're sort of looking at the whole piece. Just condense that down, condense that up. See, now it's starting to tighten up. So I can come back up here and start again. And what do we need? We need an under, over, under, and away we go again. Some of the stitches might not make it to where you need to do a weave because of the shape of your petal. So you can just stop your weaving and then pick it up further along. Like, see, we've run out of weaving point here, so I'd just weave that bit, then do this little bit, then kick off again. You just sort of have to manipulate your placement of your threads to suit. See, now we're getting, and see how there's a little white bit poking through there? Something's gone awry with that. I just come back through and do a sneaky little stitch to disguise the fact that that's not as crisp. So I would say that that bit there is fine. I might come back up here and catch a stitch. See, it's not even ability to weave. There's only one thread there to weave under. So I've now jumped forward a bit again. Catch that little guy. So you're sort of just finishing it off with a few little random weavy bits or stitches just to build it into an edge of something that's curved. We sort of can't weave as such. And then down. And I think I could get one more back where we were. So you're sort of doing a bit of embroidery now. There we go. So there's our little edge. So we've come from the centre down. I tend to start in the centre and work out. Now I'm going to jump back up to this side. See, I don't even mind it with those threads showing, you know. See, it's sort of, oh yeah, I like that. I'm not going to do any more. That looks very arty. Those threads coming out like that. Yeah. They're going to swing a little bit, those. Maybe I can do a sneaky stitch in there to couch that down. I don't want them to catch. I might just do a little itty bitty stitch just to hold those guys. Yeah, there we go. I'm going to leave that. I like it. Not a full weave, just a little bit. Okay. Let's have a little look. Where else can we pop a little bit of this blue while it's in our hands? I might go to that bud. Don't have a lot of thread. I might do, my instinct is to do this one here. So I'm stitching now through those napkins and they are great. Just a little bit of outlining here with a split back stitch first to get my form. So then come back up the centre of that little space. And I'll bring a touch of blue. This is one of my hairs. It wasn't one of mine, it was just a fibre. So now that I've got that, I can come back running out of thread. It's always the way. But that's okay, we might leave it a little bit gappy. Doesn't have to be filled in. A little bit looser. Yeah, we'll leave it at that for now. Less is more. More is even better. How's that confusing? That's what I apply to slow stitch. Less is more and more is even better. There we go. We're getting there. Well, I might toddle off, guys. I will also adhere this to my piece with some stitches. Yeah, that'll work. pins. Where are the pins? And then what I'll do is I'll put those little doggy swimming videos, The Adventures of Pepper and Bandit, in next. And I do apologise again for the sound of the wind, but hopefully in future videos I will be able to fix that. Future adventures. Not sure how I had it originally, but that looks pretty good. Yeah, just a little something something on the bottom corner. Balances the butterfly, matches the butterfly, and then this will be a dark purple and a hint of blue iris with beads. Okay, I might toddle off and I will catch you all in the next video. Bye. Hi everyone, we're heading to the beach and we have some friends that are visiting. This is Sky and Patch, Pepper and Bandit's babies. I'll find some baby photos to refresh your memory for those who've followed along with the litter of puppies that these pair had. Pepper, I've lost Bandit's lead. Oh, I better get back in control of the dog. All right, back in a moment. How he's toddling. Pepper's wanting to go. Bandit, come back. Stop. Okay, sit down, Bandit. Okay, we've made it to the estuary and everyone's having a dip. Pepper, come back here. Pepper, come back. Come on, back in the water. Let's go. That's it. In you go. That's it. Hey, they've had a bit of a dip, so they probably think it's a bit cold, Mum, to be going. No, Patchy's back in. There goes Patchy. In you go. In you go, Sky. In you go. Bandit's like, hang no, I'm not going in. Maybe. Hey, Patchy's a good boy. In you go, Sky. In you go. That's it. Go for a swim. Having a great time. Nothing like a swim at the beach. And now they're going to shake themselves off at Sue's feet. That's very pleasant. Very good. Alright, I'm going to tune out and keep an eye on my hounds, but I think you get the general gist of the shenanigans going on. I'll find baby photos too. Where you going, Pepper? Having a swim too? Patchy's in again. Hey, Sky, you going in? And Bandit's worked out there's a bridge of sand there that he can scoot from side to side without getting too wet. Too smart. Oh, get away. Don't shake it. Oh, no, you little hounds. Alright, guys. I'll tune out because I need to keep my wits about me here. Now they're going to run around like silly idiots. See you later, guys. Bye. Decided to swim home. She's in the actual lake heading back to the house and everyone else is going, are you crazy? That looks deep. No, now, oh, the other two are in. Bandit's like, yous are all nuts. Pepper's going around the tree. If she gets stuck, I'm going to have to be the one that goes out and gets her. Oh, look, Sky and Patchy are following. Look at that. Got a line of dogs. And they're out. And there's another one. Come, Patchy. Hey, better get them back in the line.
Yeah. Hey.